Hello, my name is Jess and welcome to my channel. This is my most anticipated reads of the year video. I have 3 books that I'm going to read throughout this video and I am currently on the 3rd book while filming this. However, I went to edit and realised I didn't have an intro. So here it is. I have been waiting forever for Casey McQuiston to bring out another book after Red, White and Royal Blue because I loved it so much. I really want to reread that this year, but there's so many books I do want to read. I don't know when I'll get a chance to do that. Maybe I could listen to it. That's an idea. So yes, she has brought out another book. It's come out, One Last Stop, and we are reading it in this video. The other book that I've been really hyped about, even though Taylor Jenkins Reid has released Malibu Rising, which we're going to read in this video. However, I'm wording this wrong. However, I have only read one of her books, which is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I did adore that book. And yet this is one of my most hypes and I've only read one of her books. I don't know, it makes sense to me just because I love that book. Okay, so we're reading that. And lastly, we are reading The Maidens by Alex Michaels. I can't remember the surname. Anyway, you'll see the book because we're going to read it together. Never read any of their books before. However, I just heard so many people say good things about it that it has made me super excited for it. So I just wanted to introduce the video. I hope you enjoy and I hope you manage to pick up some books that you're excited about as well. I hope you don't mind the sound of the football in the background, but I can't shut the door because the dogs will want to come in and out, so we've got a little bit of background noise. But I just wanted to talk to you about some books I've picked up. I've just picked this up. I'm only a few pages in, and this book, I haven't read the full blurb. I haven't read too much about it. All I know is a female-female romance. And I don't want to go into it knowing too much. I want it to be full of surprises. I love her writing style and I'm super excited. We have learned that August, our main character, is a Virgo, and I've really wanted to read a book where a main character is a Virgo, which is what I am, because I find astrology and star signs, things like that, super interesting. So I'm going to give you updates on how I feel about this book and what's happening, what the main plot entails. We have just followed August meeting with some possible roommates to try and get an apartment, and they are very different. Like, the first thing that one of them says to her is, "Can I touch you?" Those are his first words to her. So we're starting off with an interesting beginning to this story. I am really excited to read more of this, and I was going to do a full video on reading my most anticipated books of the year, where one of them I don't own yet and I feel like I've just bought 4 books. I cannot buy another one. So I'm not sure. I'm definitely going to be finishing this one in this video, even though it was for the Buzzwordathon. That's now gone out the window because I can't wait. I have to read it now. And also, I've really been wanting to pick up a book again where I just really want to read it physically, because at the moment I've just been more focused on audiobooks. I've just found them, I don't know, calming or a bit easier. I don't know. I've just been more drawn to that. However, during the Queer Lit reading challenge, I read Here the Whole Time, and it's odd because that wasn't my favourite out of all the books I read, but it made me feel the most calm, it made me feel happy, and I'm hoping this book is also going to do that, and I'm going to read the whole thing physically, which I'm excited about. So I went into Tesco and I first saw this book, The Vanishing Half by Brit Bennett, and I have heard so many good things about this book. However, it was mostly talked about last year, so I'm a bit behind, but I'm always going to be a bit behind because I cannot afford to buy 20 books a month. So as soon as I saw this, I thought, oh, I really want this book. And then I also saw this and they were two for £9. And I've wanted this book as well. So I've got them both. So The Vanishing Half is about two sisters that are separated. I don't know if it's at birth. They're twins. And one of them lives her life as a black person and one lives their life as, I believe, I don't know if it's... I hate this tripod. So one passes as white and one stays kind of identifying as black, and it's how their lives are so different. I don't know whether they get to the point as to meeting again. I don't know much about it apart from the fact that they're separated and they live different lives. It's very interesting for them to be twins and living such different lives. So I am interested in this one. Part of me hopes it's not, I want to say too political, but that's not the right word. I kind of want there to be a story at the same time, not just kind of a bit about, you know, the politics of living as a white or a black person. Obviously that has to be part of it and people need to be made aware of the differences. But I am really interested. I want to just see. Brit Bennett is the author of the New York Times best-selling novel, The Mothers. So she has written another book. I haven't read that one either, but I have heard really good things about that as well. So I don't know when I'm picking this up next. Like, I'm not sure, but looking forward to it. The next one was The Night Swim by Megan Goldin, and this one is about a girl that is a household name, famous for her true crime podcast that has set an innocent man free. And then she gets in, I believe someone gets in contact with her, is a victim and is being accused of something, and they want to kind of set the record straight or uncover the details. So they ask for this girl's help to kind of come forward and talk about what is actually happening. So someone is leaving mysterious letter asking her to dig deep into the death of Jenny Stills. She drowned, but the letters insist it was murder. So I love the fact that it's about true crime, yet there's a crime being committed as well, or has been committed, and we're trying to solve that as well. And then I picked up The Maidens, which is by Alex, how do I say this? Michaelades?
Sounds like a fizzy drink. Michaelade.
Again, this has been a really anticipated release, and I believe a lot of people are talking about this book at the moment. A lot happens in this book, I believe. The blurb itself kind of suggests that there is a lot going on. So for Marina, a group therapist struggling through her own private grief, it's where she met her late husband. For her niece Zoe is a tragic scene of her best friend's murder. As memory and mystery entangle Marina, she finds a society full of secrets, which has been shocked to its core by the murder of one of its own. So it does seem like we've got kind of a lot of grief, a lot of sadness in this, as well as murder. I don't know how dark it's going to be, but it's really strange to say. I'm really looking forward to this depressing book.
That's weird.
I just don't see, like, I'm not predicting much happiness in this book. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading it.
Favorite kind of book.
So those were my picks that I grabbed from Tesco when I went in just to buy some screen wash for my car. And then at the library, I had The Good Sister by Sally Hepworth on back order, I suppose. I just put it down as one that I'd like to pick up, and it became available. So they called me and said, would you like to come and get this book? And I was like, yeah. And this is about two sisters, and one of them finds out that she cannot get pregnant. So her sister decides that she will get pregnant for her and has to find someone to be the father. That is all I know about this. However, there are so many kind of reviews where there are twists, where it's chilling, where it's clever. So I don't know kind of what is going to happen in this story, but it does sound very good. I picked the worst time to film this clip, but there we go. These are the books I've picked up, and ever since I picked them up yesterday, I have been itching to film this to show you what I've got. It's been so long since I've managed to grab some books, and it just made me so happy that I found some that I wanted. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Again, I won't be buying books that regularly just because I'm not able to at the moment. However, very pleased with what I've got. My hair looks a bit of a disaster because I need to shower and wash my hair before work later. I'm going to take the dogs out in a moment. I think I'm going to have a drink, read a couple more pages, then take the dogs out, and I'll take you along with me and keep you updated with this journey of One Last Stop. So we had some work done on the plumbing today, and I love this gold tap. How fun is this? Is it weird that I love a tap? What way do we undo it? Oh, yeah, no leaking, no weird noises. Oh my god, yes. And then this is what was there before. How lovely. We had these taps changed here because there was a leak, so that's been changed, and we've had a new toilet put in. So got some work done, changed the shower curtain over. I like this, how cute. I am on page 42 of One Last Stop, so I've read a decent amount to start with, and I can tell you already I don't want to put this book down. However, I have dishes to do. This book, so it's about a girl called August who has just moved to New York, just starting to study sociology. It's like one of her third or fourth subjects to try and study to kind of find out what she wants to do. She's also working in a pancake kind of restaurant. It's like a breakfast restaurant, Billy's Pancakes, and she isn't very good at it. So she's trying to juggle this new life between living with these new roommates. She's not bothered about making friends. She actually doesn't want to make friends. She is fascinated by the girl on the subway, and that is our character Jane, and she is just transfixed by Jane. They get the train like to and from destinations together, but they don't always chat on the train. Jane hasn't really opened up about her life yet. We already met Jane on page 1, which is great. I'm glad we didn't have to wait for there to be a connection or her character to be introduced. So this revolves around August trying to sort her life out, as well as lusting over someone that she doesn't quite know yet. Jane is quite mysterious, and I've just started chapter 3 when the first page of chapter 3, I was like, whoa, makes you think Jane might not be as like perfect as August thinks, but we'll see. I'm gonna wash up, have a shower, get ready for work, but I should still have time to pick up some more. So I am going to work now, and I'm going to listen to some Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book, I'll put a picture up. I don't know anything it's about. So Taylor Jenkins Reid wrote The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and it was such an easy 5-star for me. She is so hyped about with all of her books. I do have Daisy Jones and the Six, which I'm also going to read, but not for this video. I do have the solid copy of that, so I won't be listening to the audiobook for that one. I'll just read it, but I'm going to listen to Malibu Rising. I'll let you know my thoughts. I might just give a quick read of the blurb on GOODREADS and see what we're getting ourselves into, and I'll check in a few. Yesterday while at work I started listening to Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I went into this book without knowing much of the plot, and to be honest, the first couple of pages were talking about fires that had happened in Malibu, and it didn't really give much away. I was still a bit like not sure what's going on, but as it got into it, you start with a character called Nina, and she lives in this big fancy house in Malibu, and she is famous for a number of reasons, but the first one being her dad was a famous music producer, artist, I think he was. And it kind of, you get parts about her life, and then it moves on to her siblings and how this big party happens in her house every year. You don't necessarily get an invite. If you know her and where her house is, that's your invite. And a lot of famous people go, and in between chapters about Nina and her siblings and their lives, you also get chapters on the past, how her parents met and what her parents' lives were like. And it is very interesting. It is really, really good, but I have no idea where this book is going. I think I listened to a good couple of hours of it yesterday. I am listening to it at a slower speed than I usually would, just because I want to be able to take everything in as well as pay attention to where I'm driving. But I am really enjoying it. I actually was tempted to listen to a bit more before bed last night, but I didn't. I am really enjoying this book. So I just had a look, and the chapter I'm on is 1959. So I can say
It's been 84 years.
that is definitely historical fiction. I don't know, that hasn't really changed my thoughts on what's happening. I kind of gathered it wasn't from around the present day, since there are certain things that happen that I think that wouldn't necessarily happen now, especially the lack of security around the shows they go to. I think that was never such, there wasn't as much security around it. And I think it's quite obvious what was happening with June and Mick. So June and Mick are the parents to Nina and her siblings. However, as soon as we found out that Hudson is a half brother, we already knew what side that was on, just because I think it's very stereotypical to say that a musician that is married goes off will cheat. It is quite stereotypical to say that, but especially in novels, I think it's quite obvious it's going to happen. And as soon as we already know one of them's a half sibling, it was quite easy to tell who the parent was to that sibling. This hair is now really distracting me. God's sake. This Chicago Town pizza that's vegan absolutely slaps. This is just super yummy. Well, I would have described it in another way, but Sam wouldn't allow it. Very tasty. I have to show you something else that I'm eating today, because this stuff is so good. I think this is the best, like, fake bacon we've had. There are other brands, but this one's by far the best. So, making some sandwiches for me and Sam. It doesn't look all that appetizing, but it's so nice. Good morning. I am on page 132 of One Last Stop, and this book has gone in a direction I did not expect. And I did read the blurb, and it does say on the back that Jane is stuck in the 1970s, but I thought that was just kind of like a phrase or an expression, like she wasn't actually physically stuck, but she is being stuck on a train on a loop for, like, I think it was like over 40 years. So she isn't dead as far as we know yet, like at the moment. August is trying to help her regain her memories at the moment, but I just did not expect this kind of like sci-fi magical element. Nico, her roommate, the psychic, has actually helped her out a lot, and I think he's a great character. The characters are fantastic. I am really enjoying this, but not as much as Red, White and Royal Blue. I don't think this quite measures up. I mean, I might change my mind. To start with, like, since the last update, I am going to say I wasn't really sure if I liked Jane as a character very much, but now we've learn a bit more about her, and now we know what we know, I could appreciate her a lot more. I love August. I think August is a great character, but she's very closed off and she's very guarded, and she's around all these wonderful people that are trying to get close to her, and she does struggle not to let them, which is a good thing, I think. So I do like her as a character, but like I said, she does try to shut herself away from everyone, and now she's kind of seeing Jane as this case she's working on, although she still has a massive crush on her. I have no idea where this book is going to go. I mean, I've got loads left to read, so a lot can happen yet, but I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it. I don't want to stop reading it. Like, I don't want to put it down, so I do still enjoy it, but I'm just not sure overall how I'm feeling about it. I've also been listening to Malibu Rising, and it is kind of a lot about these four siblings and them growing up, and it's all building up to this party, and this is the last party all four of them will attend together. They just went surfing, and one of the siblings, Jay, knew it was the last time all four of them would be surfing together, yet he's not sure why. So it is building up to this event or something that's going to happen. Nina is a great character. She is the eldest out of the four siblings, and we keep getting flashbacks as them growing up. We had flashbacks from their parents meeting. I love how this is connected to The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Taylor Jenkins Reid's other book, and how we've got like a crossover. I love it when authors do that. It has started raining. I have just gotten off the train coming back from Cardiff. Just went to Cardiff to meet up with someone, and I got a good chunk of my book read on the train and whilst waiting for my train to come home. So I am on page 241 of One Last Stop. So I have got a good way through this book. And I will say, it's not as, I'm not going to use the word steamy, there's not as much sexual experiences as in Red, White and Royal Blue. I am comparing the two just because I loved Red, White and Royal Blue so much. It's one of my all-time favourite books. However, this doesn't quite measure up. I thought this might even replace that, especially since it was female-female relationship. I thought I'd be more into it, but the story isn't as good. It's a fantastic story, it's amazingly written, and I really am enjoying it. It's just not as good as Red, White and Royal Blue, so I'm not loving it as much. I mean, the things that are happening, it is definitely more sci-fi than I thought it would be. Not hugely so, but I'm not sure if it's believable or if it's meant to be. It's kind of sci-fi magical kind of element. I'm not sure about that part of this book. I don't know how I feel about that. I really August is my favourite, but I do also like Jane. I like Jane a lot. So both female lead characters are very good. August, I do just like that bit more. I can relate to her so much more. I love that her being a Virgo is mentioned a couple of times because I am a Virgo and I love that I'm a Virgo. I love like astrology, star signs, and I tick all the boxes when you look up what it means to be a Virgo. While I was in Cardiff, I picked up a hard copy of Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and this is so beautiful. I love this cover. I think it is stunning. In America, they have a different cover for this book, and it is nowhere near as beautiful as this. Like, that's what I think anyway. So now at least, like, when I flick through and I find where I'm at, we can see how far through I am as well. But I love this book so much. I think this is actually proving to be way better than my expectations for it. I was hoping for a 5-star, but it's just so good. So I'm loving this more than this, whereas I thought this one would be my favorite. Anyway, I'm gonna go home now, get a cup of tea, get changed in something warmer. I felt freezing cold all day today, and like I said, my head hurts. Hello, I am here with a book update. Why else would I be here? It has been a hell of a week. It's been a miserable week, it's been a crap week, and it's going to continue to be a crap week because I have a lot of horrible stuff going on, but we're not going to dwell on that because that's not why we're here. Once this week is over, I can forget about it for a couple of weeks. I cannot wait for July to be over. I cannot wait for it to be over. Onwards and upwards from July. Oh my gosh. Just pray for me. Pray for me. Anyway, I finished 2 books last night. First of all, I finished One Last Stop. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 because I expected it to slap as much as Red, White and Royal Blue, and it did not. I mean, the female romance was really cute. It was adorable. It was really cute at times, really emotional, really powerful, really sexy. So there were different vibes off of this cute little romance that they had going on. The kind of stuck in the 70s, the whole kind of sci-fi magical time loop kind of element to this book was well crafted. It was sweet, it was adorable, it made it interesting, it made it fun, it made it unique, but it didn't have that little bit extra, that little pizzazz that Red, White and Royal Blue did. It just didn't hit the spot for me. So it's a 4 out of 5, still loved it, still cute, still happy that I own a copy and will most likely read again. And then I finished Malibu Rising, and this is a top 5 book. I bloody loved it. It was so good. I just cannot recommend this book enough. Taylor Jenkins Reid's writing is just phenomenal. I want to read everything she has ever written and is ever going to read because she is just fantastic. So she also wrote 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I gave a 5 out of 5. This book follows 4 siblings and it kind of jumps back in time to their upbringing, how their parents met, how they're doing now. And there's a little bit of a mystery around it, how it's going to end and how They possibly aren't going to surf together again. They're not going to throw the same party that they do yearly ever again. This will be the final one, and we don't know why, so there's a little bit of mystery around it. Their dad is a famous artist, and we've got a lot of like his story in there as well, and that kind of links to Evelyn Hugo and that story, which I love there being a connection. I think that's great. I loved the siblings, the 4 siblings in this. Those characters and the character kind of development for the siblings was fantastic. I am so happy I read this. I was listening to it because I didn't think I'd get my hands on a copy so soon, but I was halfway through and I just didn't want to stop. It was just so perfect that I had to own a copy. So this, I reckon, so this and Song of Achilles are definitely my favourite books right now. I am already wanting to re-listen to this right now. I enjoyed it that much. And it's very rare I get a book that I want to pick up again straight away. And even actually Red, White and Royal Blue did that for me as well. But I just cannot recommend this enough. There's a lot of surfing elements because all 4 children become surfers, not all professionally, but they surf as children, and it's something they bond over. How Nina's life goes when she starts taking care of her siblings and the person she grows up to be and everything they go through. And because they're so well off and quite famous, and that's how you kind of meet them to start with, I think you always expect them to have a glamorous life when actually they really didn't. So perfection, loved it. And then lastly for this vlog, we are reading The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. I don't know why I struggled then. I have picked this up this morning and read 2 pages, and that was all because I went straight on to doing work that sucks. So haven't managed to pick any more of this up yet. I may try and listen to it while at work. The first 2 pages have already drawn me right in, and I feel like this is going to be a really gripping story. So, going to do some listening. Maybe, that's not 100%. I really want to read this, like the physical copy, but I don't know if I will be able to do that today. May struggle to get this video finished this week. I do want to film a few bits on Sunday, so a different video may go up in between, but I'll keep you updated, and yeah, we'll keep reading. These are my 3 most anticipated books of the year, and so far we've got a 5-star, a 4-star, and I am expecting this to be a 5-star as well, but then again, being most anticipated, I expected them all to be 5-star, and we didn't get that, so who is to know? So I just wanted to check in and update you regarding The Maidens by Alex Michaelides. However you say Alex's surname. Alex, I apologise, but if you listen to me pronounce anyone's name, it isn't usually the best. So I am on page, I believe it's page 103, so I've gone on to part 2. So I've made good progress with this book. This book is surprising. It's surprising me a lot. Specifically, the biggest surprise is the writing style. I don't know why, but I expected the writing style to be a bit more complex, a bit more harder to follow. I expected to really have to concentrate on the storyline. This book is fantastic. It's full of grief, so if that's a trigger for you, don't pick this up. However, there's a lot to do with therapy. There are a little bit to do with Greek and Greek mythology, which is fantastic because that is what I like. There is murder. Again, something I like reading about. It's so interesting. We're following Mariana, who very recently lost her husband. And then she gets a phone call from her niece just after she's finished with group therapy, because that's what Mariana does for a living. And her niece is worried about a friend and is worried that she's being murdered. So asks Mariana to come to stay with her, to comfort her, to talk about it. And that is where we kind of start off the story. We get a little bit of Mariana's past and her upbringing. I love that she lives in a yellow house with primroses. Oh, that's so cute. I now really want a yellow house. However, we've just moved in this year, so I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. But if I ever get married, that is what I'll say. Can we have a yellow house? We have also gotten some very suspicious characters. We've got some very dark characters, some twisted characters already. I mean, we're 103 pages in, which I thought sounded like quite a bit, but when you look at how much I've got left, there is still a lot to this book. But it's very well written in the sense that you could kind of suspect anyone at this point. And it's also very well written in the sense that we're getting Mariana's thoughts on what she thinks of these characters, especially her being a physiotherapist. However, I don't believe she's always going to be right. I think it's written to mislead you. So I don't have any suspicions yet. However, I will keep you updated. I've got to go to work now. So I may listen to this today. I may not. I'm finding it really hard to concentrate this week. So I might pick this up when I get home and just read some before bed. So some of my clips are going to be like days have passed just because I've just got so much on. Like today's been absolute madness. Sam got herself a new car today. I drove her to go and collect it. I might even include a little clip here of us at the garage picking up her car. So yeah, we got Sam a new car today. We have done some shopping today. It has been a little bit crazy and now I'm going into work. So if you have read this book or any of these books, please chat to me about them. I really like sharing love for books and I will check in a little while. About the state of me. I am here to update you on the fact that I finished The Maidens. I think I finished this in 2 days. I can't actually remember. I finished it so quickly. This was my most surprising read out of this vlog. Like my most anticipated. This, I enjoyed this way more than expected. I thought I would like it, but I thought it would be I don't know whether darker is the right word, because this is quite a gothic book anyway. It's very gothic, it's quite mysterious, but it is such an easy read, so easy to get through, so gripping, and it's surprising. I don't think this one is that easy to kind of explain like how I feel, or I don't know. So basically we follow Mariana, who lost her husband. She is a group therapist. Her niece Zoe asks her to come to visit her as soon as possible because she is worried that her friend, one of her best friends, has just been killed, murdered. So it's on the news that there's a girl that has been found. Zoe thinks that it's her best friend, so she gets Mariana to come and comfort her. And over the course of this time, Mariana is finding so many secrets and all this evidence, because we do find out it is her friend. We find it out quite early on. I believe it's even in the blurb. It's not that much of a spoiler. And we are believed the whole time, well, we're supposed to believe, I suppose, we're led to believe that it is one of the teachers at this university that Zoe is attending. There's a group of girls called the Maidens. Zoe and Tara are also maidens, I believe, and we are led to believe the teacher that has these maidens as a group of his favourites is the murderer. And it's really funny because we're led to believe this. I kept thinking, no, that's too obvious. But there were times where I actually felt convinced. Really good, really enjoyable, really gripping. And I quite like a gothic book. I haven't read many books that have felt that gothic. So it makes me really want to pick up Catherine House, because I believe that's known to be quite a gothic read as well. Really enjoyed this. I can't remember if I gave it a 4 or 5. I think I'm going to have to put it in the cool pile spreadsheet. I'll put it up on the screen what I end up rating this, just so you can have a look at my final verdict, because I need to upload it in the spreadsheet. Personally, I think it's going to be a 4, but I'm not sure. I'll put it in the spreadsheet. I'll put it up on the screen. The cool pile spreadsheet I mentioned quite a lot. I will link it below if you're interested, so you can see what you need to upload in there. So it's your rating for the characters, the atmosphere, the writing, the logic, the enjoyment. So you rate all these different things, and then it tells you how many stars you have given this based on your intrigue of certain aspects of the book. So yeah, that'll be on the screen. I'm ending this video here. It's quite a long one, I believe, but most of my videos end up being quite long. I hope you've enjoyed. I was really keen to do a most anticipated reads video, and I didn't think that it was going to happen for me. I had been really struggling financially, and do you know what, getting paid from this job felt like it had taken forever, but I'm really starting to get there. I'm really starting to sort my life back out. My channel seems to be going well, work is going well, and I'm kind of getting there. Once I sort my car issue out, once I am done with dealing with my past workplace, everything being settled again, I'm going to feel so much better. My meds I am on are all over the place. I don't always remember to take them. I've got a reminder on my phone and I'm still useless. So I'm not sure about that, but I am getting there. I really am. I am trying to go on dates. I went on a date last week, and although it wasn't great, I'm getting back out there and getting my life on track. Somebody I was interested in dating during lockdown, we drifted apart, and I reached back out because she has one of my books and she has started seeing someone and it's going well. And admittedly it stung a bit, but at the same time I was like, I knew we won't work out. She was moving further into Devon, I was moving to Wales. We were moving too far apart for that to actually work, especially considering she had found the dream placement for her work. So I knew that wasn't going to go ahead. So mini life update there for you on how everything is going. I hope you enjoyed this video. Really pleased with how it went. Have a super duper good one, and I'll see you next week if I continue to upload.